So, welcome back, everybody. My name is Chloe Ballatori. I'm a relationship and communication expert. I'm a graduate of Princeton University and Pat Allen's Want Institute. And I use the tools of transactional analysis as created by Eric Byrne. I use the tools of androgynous semantic realignment, which was created by Pat Allen, who also mentored me. Excuse me. And I use tools that I've created myself because I've been doing this work for over a decade now. I'm also over 20 years married. So everything that I'm talking about and teaching you guys, I have gone through myself and therefore know the challenges therein. I'm going to give a brief introduction on this scholarship that this work is based on. Then I'm going to open it up for questions, and that's what we're going to spend most of our time on is answering your guys' questions. So this scholarship is very established. This is not technically the work that I have come up with. This is work that has been the principles of feminine and masculine, the principles of yin yang. Some of these ideas are at least thousands of years old. But what's unique about this work is the tools to execute on this scholarship, because a lot of times when people are unhappy and they go out to seek help from someone, they get a chance to vent and speak their mind and get that reflected back to them, but it's not always a vehicle for change. And so while that is a valuable experience, it doesn't always, or it really doesn't lead to changing your life and having different outcomes in your life. So this work is really geared towards achieving a different outcome. If you've noticed that you have patterns in your life that you're not happy with, if you've noticed that there are things that you want that you don't have, or things that you don't want that you do have, then you're in the right place. So, what are we talking about? And when we're talking about successful relationships, what we're talking about is balance. And balance is a bellwether of health in almost every area here on earth, right? When you have a chemical imbalance, you take medicine. When you have a hormone imbalance, you take hormones. And when you have an unbalanced reaction to something, that means you're not reacting in a way that serves you and that supports your goals. Okay? And so a lot of this work is about achieving balance not only in your relationships, but also within yourself as well. Every relationship is ultimately about the relationship that you have with yourself. We live in a universe based in duality, pain and pleasure, black and white, night and day. This is the reality that we have to deal with down here. Now, oh, there we go. Excuse me. Oftentimes there's a pejorative connotation to the word feminine or masculine. So sometimes I'll use yin for feminine and yang for masculine. But everybody is both, and one is not better than the other. There's a lot of misunderstanding about these two terms. So I'm going to give a brief definition of feminine and masculine. If you want to learn more about feminine and masculine or yin and yang energies, there's a wonderful book I recommend called The Yin Yang of Life by Dr. Kim and Dr. Lee. And that pretty much breaks down everything in the world according to feminine and masculine or yin and yang, colors, food, recreation, like. Okay, I'm back. Sorry, I had some kind of connectivity issue. Okay, so feminine, the right side of the brain, passive, patient, vulnerable. This is receiving. This is the world of magic, the world of sensuality and sexuality, feelings. Um, Feminine energy is very much in the world to make it fun, but it's not of the world. Um, Feminine energy is often slower moving than masculine energy. And a good representation or metaphor for feminine energy are flowers. Flowers exist in the world and we love them because they are beautiful. Feminine energy needs to feel good to do good. Okay. So that's different than the left brain, which is masculine, which is competing, conquering, controlling, doing, achieving. This is the world of linear thinking, of single-mindedness, of taking care of things. Most of us are in our masculine when we're at work because we're doing and achieving and we're trying to get ahead and compete. But again, one is not better than the other. What I often help people with is especially with high achieving women who have to be in their masculine at work, but then want to be in their feminine in their relationships. And a lot of us women kind of, at least in my generation, kind of lost the notion of what it meant to be feminine because we were inculcated with work and we live in a very masculinized culture, right? The scripting of our society, also known as the epi-script, um, favors working, doing, especially right now. And this is one of the reasons, for example, that we've failed to cherish the environment, nature. These are feminine values. Everyone is both, and everyone has a unique balance to themselves. And that balance may change over time. Often women, as we get older, we become more masculine because of hormone changes, and often men become more feminine when they go through andropause. So that happens around the age of 45 or 50. That doesn't mean that you still can't be a masculine man or a feminine woman. Um, but sometimes it will take a little more effort. And using these tools really help you bring yourself into balance. So yes, these tools will absolutely give you an unfair advantage. Well, it will give you an advantage in your relationships, but they also give you advantage in other areas of communication and relationships that are not romantic, work situations, platonic relationships, etc. So, oftentimes when people have trouble in relationships, it means that this balance is off. And that happens usually because you've had some kind of childhood trauma, whether it's trauma with a big T or a small t. Doesn't matter as much in this context. What matters is that you had trauma and how you responded to that trauma, reacted to that trauma. As a child, many of us have to sacrifice our authenticity in order to attach to the people who own the refrigerator because our life simply depends on it. Our survival, our existence depends on it. And because we're such young individuals with little developing brains, everything that happens between the ages of 0 to 12 has a greater impact on us than anything that happens later in life. So, Freud postulated that childhood was the only reality, and he's not the only one. This was also um, these were also the thoughts of André Breton, also who was a famous French surrealist philosopher, also observed by Patricia Highsmith, the novelist of the Ripley books, who had a very traumatic relationship with her mother. Um, so this has been something that has been observed for centuries. We haven't always known that it's a reality that sheesh. Okay. It was once believed that childhood reality was unchanged, could not be changed. That Freud believed you were cooked really by age 3. And then after that, the rest of your life is kind of getting over your childhood. We're lucky now we were born later. We know that the brain can change itself. And so while this does take work, it is possible. And it's done through awareness and it's done through using these tools. But the first thing you must bring to your situation is awareness. And try not to delude yourself about yourself. So as on you, your work is only limited by your own honesty with yourself. So if you're willing to be very honest with yourself, then the sky is kind of the limit. You can really go far using this work. And that's why I love it, because it was really the first thing that I saw that gave such good results that I knew that I could see if you dig into it, your life will just keep getting better and better. Not that you won't continue to have problems or challenges in life. That's always going to be the case, right? If there's pain, there's pleasure, there's pleasure, there's pain. However, your challenges and your catharsis from meeting those challenges makes life more rewarding. Okay, so if you didn't understand everything that I said, that's okay. I'm going to take your questions now. Also going to put my credentials in the chat here. And raise your hand or put in the chat if you have a question or a comment or an update. Okay. Hmm. Elizabeth.
Hi, Chloe.
Hi, welcome back. How are you? Oops, I can't hear you.
And I've passed
Wait,
16 pages.
start over. The beginning of what you were saying dropped out.
Okay. I've been reading your book, the one for module one.
Great.
Yes, and so I'm past page 16. I think I'm on page 20.
Okay.
Um, so I don't know if you want, like, do I wait until the module starts to ask a question about that, or can I ask you now?
Um, well, I don't want you to shoot your load, but
Okay.
if it's something small, you can ask me now.
Yeah, it's something
Okay.
small. Hold on, let me
Okay.
pull up. Well, I
And
had,
by the way, Carmen, who's the other person in this room, she's done all three of my modules already. So
oh wow.
Carmen, I'm going to unmute you if you want to add anything. Okay.
Okay, let me find the question because I was taking notes on some of these things. Let's see. Okay, I think I don't know the exact words, but that you had used in the book, but there was a page where you said that you when you have a disagreement with him, you make him right.
Uh-huh.
So you say you feel you can think what you need, what you want, but it makes me feel like this or something
Right.
like that.
You have every right to think, do, act that way, but I'm not comfortable with it.
Yes, that part.
Right.
So are you making him right because he's the man and you want him to be feel respected? Or are you making him right even though he may not be right? Are you making him right to keep the peace? What is the purpose of you making him right?
Well, it has to do with infringing on somebody else's autonomy. It's really a question of existential identity. If you're bossing him around, he does have every right to do whatever the hell he wants. He doesn't have a right to hurt people, but he does have a right to do that, think that, whatever it is. Act that way. He has a right to fart in front of your friends. He has a right to come go out drinking with his buddies after work. He has a right to do any of those things. So what it does is it takes you out of the moralistic judging position, which is what men hate, right? This is like
Mhm.
the thing that men really talk about that they hate in relationships with women is when the woman becomes their mom, when the woman starts telling them what to do. Don't tell me what to do. I work with many couples. I've heard many men that out of the mouths of many men. Don't tell me what to do. So it has to do with negotiating with love. Obviously, you can scream at him and tell him he's wrong and do all that stuff, but that doesn't lead to a successful relationship or a successful transaction. So
Okay.
what it means is you have every right to be whoever the hell you want to be, right? And he does. So you want to let him know he has every right, because this isn't about you being his mommy and him being a little boy and you telling him, no, 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 Timmy, you cannot pee on the floor. If he wants to pee on the floor, he can pee on the floor now, right? He's a grown up.
Hmm.
So what it does is it frees him because now he knows he can do whatever he wants. And it takes puts the, it, ironically, it puts the responsibility on him for his own behavior and takes it away from you. Because when you're telling him what to do, you're you're trying to control him, and you're also taking the responsibility away from him. So then he becomes a little boy.
Okay.
And I understand you may be smarter, and I understand you may be quote unquote right about what other your position is, but
Hmm.
that doesn't take away from the fact that he has every right to do that, think that, or say that. But your power is in the ability to say no, the price
Oh,
tag, the setting of that, right?
okay.
Okay, go do that. Go pee on the floor. You will never see me again, right? What is the price tag of his behavior?
Right.
Do that. It makes me feel bad. Does that matter to you?
Hmm.
Then once you tell him your feelings, then you get a chance to see if he cherishes them or not.
Yeah.
And if it happens more times than you want, then that's when you set the price tag. Okay, continue using my toothbrush. You use it one more again, flush, I'm gonna scrub the toilet with it. Whatever it is. You know, it could be anything. But yeah, so that's what's meant by that.
Okay. Thank you for explaining.
You are so welcome. I'm really excited for Saturday too. Okay. Carmen, do you have anything? Any questions?
Yes. Hi, Chloe. Can you hear me?
Hi, welcome. It's like 2 a.m. for you, right?
Yes, yes.
Oh
It's
my
two
God,
in the
I'm so
morning.
impressed that you made it. Carmen's calling from Portugal, so it's
Yes.
okay. How
Yeah.
can I help you?
So I wanted to give you some feedback.
Yes.
Not sure if you remember, but last time we talked, I was about to go and meet this guy from Sweden.
Right, I remember.
Yeah, in Sweden.
Right.
And that happened, and it was amazing. It was
Ah,
amazing.
yay!
It was amazing. I don't even know what to say because I only have good things to say, and that's news to me when it
That's
comes
so
to
great.
relationships. Um,
I'm so
yes.
happy. Are you able to deal with it? Is it like so shocking that it's almost like, oh,
Now I am getting used to it.
good.
Yeah, now it's kind of it's becoming the new me or the new normal,
Yeah.
if I could say like that. Yeah.
Yeah, because sometimes at first, and this happened to me, has happened to a number of my clients, when they're first in like with a nice guy, a good one, they're like,
Mhm.
is this real? Should I believe?
Yeah.
What's happening?
Mhm. Yes, yes, yes. I would look like a little puppy. Like what is happening? What does this
Yeah.
mean? But
I'm
now I
so
get
happy.
it, because sometimes you say I heard you say like you can predict the future.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, no, no, this cannot be happening. But yeah, it was amazing. He's super caring, kind, respectful, so generous. I went over there and he I mean, he paid for everything.
Good.
He paid for everything. And I kept remembering something that you asked me to do, that even if I'm uncomfortable, just stay in that because I'm safe.
Yes.
I felt safe. I was just not used to that type of behavior in, in
Yeah.
dating. We're
Right.
not in a relationship yet, but in the process of dating, I was not used to that.
Yeah.
Um,
Isn't
and
it nice though?
it was amazing.
It
It
was
was
amazing.
amazing. It was amazing. And I mean, he has such a big heart, super sweet, and he 100% cherishes my feelings. Um,
So you don't even have to
and
teach him that.
no, no. And
Uh,
I feel like I can relax around him. I
yeah.
was thinking about this the other day, how I come from a background where, I would get home and my nervous system would be kind of, not kind, it would be alert, 100% alert.
Hmm.
But with him, and even when he came over to Lisbon and we spent time
Oh,
together,
he's already
I know
been to
I was,
Lisbon.
yes, yeah.
Nice.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so you
I-
guys, so I don't want to interrupt you. Say,
mhm.
continue.
Yes, I just wanted to say, like, I feel I can be calm and relax around him and, let him take the lead.
That's a
Yeah.
very good sign.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's excellent. So are you guys
Hmm.
official or?
No, we're
Okay.
not exclusive yet because in something that he's, and something that is interesting is that he brings up this sort of topics as well. So
He
we've
wants
been
to
thinking
lock you
about,
down.
yes.
Smart man.
Yeah, so we've been talking about, what a relationship would look like, and of course it would be long distance, and yeah, he's definitely taking the lead. He's bringing up this type of conversations. I don't have to say anything.
Right.
It takes
He's
a
a real
little
man.
bit. Yeah,
He's a
it
real
takes a
man.
little bit. Yeah, because I think as women we're a little bit fast,
Hmm. Yes.
but he does it. Yeah.
I love it. I'm so pleased to hear that. And of course, I don't think it's any coincidence that did this work. You worked so hard on this. You really applied yourself this first half of the year, and lo and behold,
Yes.
that's what I'm saying. It always works. Sometimes I can't predict the timing of it, but it
Yeah.
always works. And so I'm just really proud of you. You come so far. You really applied yourself, and like you're already starting to see the results. That makes me very happy.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome. I'm just very pleased.
Yeah, and I have two questions. The
Okay.
first one is on dating, but
Mhm.
relating to friends because I've been thinking about how maybe I should start limiting what I'm sharing from what I'm experiencing with him, specifically when it comes to friendships.
Mhm.
And I'll give you an example. So I was very excited, and of course, I want to share. And my friends, they know what's been happening. And I'm talking about close friends,
Mhm.
long friendships. And something that annoyed me a little bit. It was the fact that I was sharing all these things, and I noticed that my friends started focusing on the fact that he paid for everything, and on the money aspect.
Hmm.
And that annoyed me a little bit because
Yes.
I noticed how it started to kind of put worms on my brain,
Right.
but on the same time, I, like I want to share with my friends.
Right. But your friends have never seen you like this before.
Yeah.
You've gone through a really big transformation. Not all friends are going to react to that the same way. You may find that some people are not happy for you to be happy. You may find that some people like the person that was hiding in her apartment more than the person who's living out loud. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm. Yeah.
And so, this is Elizabeth and I have talked about this a lot. It's like women aren't the greatest at supporting other women, right?
Yeah.
We have the Real Housewives shows that show us that. But in reality, like work situations and in life and friendships, a lot of I wasn't quite sure where you were going with it, if you were going to tell me that one of your girlfriends maybe made a move on him or something, because that happens, you know? And I mean, it happened to me when I met my husband. I had a friend who had always been kind of lurking, and she had liked someone that I liked and fooled around with him behind my back, and then I liked someone that she liked and I fooled around with him. But I did tell her that
Mm.
happened. Anyway, I ended up finding out with the other one too. So we weren't that great, right? We weren't that great. There were trust issues. And when I met my husband and I knew it was on, like it was we were probably going to get married, or it was gonna go the distance in a way that I had not had in the past with relationships. Because I, like this friend, had only had relationships with men that were not the greatest, were
Mm.
dystonic and kind of awful and stoked my pain addiction. So it's not like I look back on any of those relationships and go, "Oh, I wish it had worked out," because they were all um, relationships that were based on trauma, basically. But when I met my husband and everything was going forward, I remember we went to a party and she was there and she started making moves on him. He wasn't feeling well. She was like getting him a hot drink inside the house. She was like patting his back. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? This is a dangerous situation for me.
Mm.
I got furious. And he was, of course, just like, what? She's just being nice. I thought I was going to lose my mind.
Mm.
And I never brought her around again. That was it. That was the end of our friendship.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, that's something that is the price tag of evolving and doing your psychological spiritual work, is some people are cannot keep up.
Mm.
So I would be aware of who amongst your girlfriends you feel safe around to share things. And with other people, I mean, there's like a bazillion TikToks about this. Like, don't tell people your dreams, they'll shit all over them, or they'll steal them.
Yeah.
I remember Dr. Pat said to me one time, she's like, you have a tough time with women because they either want to copy you or tear you down.
Mm.
And I was like, yeah. She's like, well, it's lonely at the top. And that is the downside. But you don't need that many people. You have your mom. I know she supports you. I know she's happy for you, right?
Yes.
So, you have people. You might not have as many people as you had before, but that's okay. Usually what happens is your circle gets smaller, but it gets stronger. Because now you have a little bit of a new criteria, you have a new lens to look at people's behavior through, and you're not going to put up with the same shit.
Oof.
You can't play with toxic people.
Yeah, that is so, so real. And I've noticed that um I've been doing that, distancing myself from
Good.
a few good from a few people, because it's kind of like I just don't have, it's not the patience, but I just cannot relate anymore.
Yeah. And I mean, of course, there's some kind of like sentimental nostalgia with that,
Yes.
but don't let
Yeah.
that get in the way of you protecting your energy. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay.
And okay, the other question that I had, so I'm in the process of changing work.
Hmm.
Not the one that I'm not going to the one that we discussed,
Okay.
but I'm basically now going to be working with children between 10 and 15 years old.
I love that for you.
Yeah,
You're going to be
yeah.
so good at that.
Oh, oof. Let's
You're
see.
going
I
to be a
hope
young
so.
role model. That's exactly what those girls need.
Oh, and I'm going to be working in education, but
Okay.
working more um, with disadvantaged background students. Working on their mindset and helping them achieve
I
their
am
full
so
potential.
excited for this. Oh my God. And
I
you're going to be
know.
able to bring all this work to them.
I know, I know. I've been thinking about it. And something that you were talking in the beginning now, moving, from the masculine to the feminine. I even noticed this when it comes to training because we've been doing training for this work for 4 weeks now, and now I'm going to a different city. We're going to stay there for a month, doing this intense training. And a lot of what we do is work on self.
Nice. Yeah.
Basically, they have this vision that it starts from us to go over
That
to
sounds
the
very
to the
holistic.
students. Yes, super 100%. And yeah, I just wanted to hear from you how, if you have any tips or any guidance when it comes to working with children between 10 and 15 years old, just having this yin and yang, masculine and feminine. How does it work?
Right. Okay. So the
Yeah.
boys, if the boys are 10, they're just starting to become differentiated. Like
Mm,
girls mature faster than boys. So a girl will already be starting her journey to become a woman like around the age of 8, right? That's
okay.
when the brain changes, like the pre-puberty begins. Boys might start around 10 or even a little bit later. So I would still, though, go in treating at them as boy and girl, but just be aware as, like, just be aware. Of course, you might have a feminine boy or a masculine girl, anyways. And
Yeah.
if you have a boy who you intuit or needs more cherishing, then, absolutely heed that instinct because there are those feminine boys who need that. Um, 10 to 15 is tough because some children will still be children and some will be starting puberty. You know what I'm saying? So there's a
Yeah.
lot happening during puberty. There's a great book by Daniel Siegel called Brainstorms about what the teenage brain experiences in puberty. And I
Mhm.
think that will be helpful for you because it is a tough time and it's hard for them to manage all the hormonal changes that are occurring in their heads and firing and misfiring. And, that's what leads to oftentimes like erratic or risky behavior in teenagers comes from the brainstorm and the craving for that dopamine rush. So here, I'll put that in the chat so you can check it out if you want to.
Thank you.
Oops.
Mm.
So I would take a look at that. I mean, you know, it is different than working with adults. Overall, I don't know what they're going to teach you. If they're going to teach you some kind of pedagogy, I take all pedagogy with a grain of salt. What is the most crucial factor in dealing with children is compassion.
Mhm.
You kind of can't go wrong if you're being compassionate. I know you're already a deeply compassionate person because I've worked with you. So that's partly why I think you're going to be such a good role model. The other pitfall that I would say just to be aware of is that sometimes children will say very hurtful things that are extremely triggering to adults. They don't really know the power of what they're saying or really what they're saying. A lot of times they're just lashing out and they're just saying to get you away from them. And
Mm.
so I would just be wary of being triggered and taking anything they say with a grain of salt And if it seems really crazy, crazy mean, they probably don't mean it or don't understand what was said. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes, yes.
You know, because they get to a point, sometimes teenagers get to a point where it's like they just want you to get away from them and they will say anything to do that. Um, and it can be kind of scary and confusing because some people at 15 are going to look like adults. You know, some
Yes.
people at 13 are going to look like adults. I mean, it just like everybody's on a different, schedule. So, it's just good to remember that they are immature. And boys,
Yeah.
and look, boys more so. It's just the way it goes. Boys mature more slowly. I'm not saying they're
Yes.
dumber, but but these facts have been known for a really long time. You go to any kindergarten class, you'll see that the girls are almost always doing better than the boys. But people don't like to discuss that because it sounds too prejudiced. It's just the way it is, though.
Yeah.
And of course, there's exceptions, but in general, girls do mature a bit faster. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to your update on that. That good.
Yes, I feel like since I started working with you, a lot of things happened.
Yeah,
Oh
it's
my
a game
God.
changer,
Ah,
right?
super. Yes,
You got a new
100%.
job, you got a new guy, like
Ooh,
your friend
things
group
are
changed.
moving. Yeah, things are moving and they're moving fast.
I'm so
And I'm,
happy to hear that. Yeah.
yeah,
And just
I'm
take your
just
chance, even if you don't think you're ready.
Mhm.
I just think just jump on that train because you have
Oof.
some good momentum right now.
Yes, yes, yes. I'll keep going. Thank you
Okay.
so much, Chloe.
Are
Thank you.
so welcome. Excellent work, both of you guys. I'm really looking forward to Saturday. I'm starting my live module. I have one spot left. If anybody's listening, you want to sign up, you can do so through my website, chloe'sconsciousnesstraining.squarespace.com. Yes, Elizabeth.
Chloe, so I have a question, but real quick, I wanted to comment on something that Carmen said. So my cousin is married to a guy from Sweden. So she lives, well, she's from here. She lived in the States. She
Okay.
went backpacking in Europe many years ago, like over the summer. And then while she was there, she was in different countries. She ended up in Portugal. She went to a popular bar and
Mm-hmm.
then she met this guy from Sweden. Um,
Funny.
yeah, yeah. And so they must have exchanged, I guess, email or I don't know, contact information. And then they were in a long distance relationship because she came back to the States.
Mm-hmm.
He went back to Sweden. And then over time, I don't know, they were dating. I don't know how that's possible, like long distance for a long time. I guess she went over there to visit him.
Okay.
And then eventually he was going to propose and she kept I feel like she was the more dominant person in the relationship. Like she kept trying to postpone it. Like she wanted to be the one deciding when he would propose.
Mm. Right.
Eventually, he proposed and she said yes, and then she moved to Sweden. Like she lived over there for 2 years. But I think it's hard to get a job if you're not from there. So like she had to take a Swedish class to learn Swedish. Then she had to volunteer somewhere.
Okay. So what's your question or point?
What was that?
What's your question or what's your
No, I was just commenting, but they're happy now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Cool.
they
Okay.
moved
So
back.
good guys come from Sweden.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, but my question was, trying to figure out. I think you said this before, but you said the person you have the most chemistry with is not the one you're most compatible with. Why is that?
Well, it's often not the person that you're gonna end up with, like for long term. You can it turns out that crazy chemistry usually comes from childhood trauma.
Oh,
So then you're feeding each other's wounds in a way that really will be more exciting for the body and the hormones in the body than having a content, happy relationship with somebody. You understand? Because
Mhm.
the up and down nature of it,
Oh, okay.
that contributes to the just the aspect of the chemistry because it's what your nervous system is used to.
Hmm.
And so that's why the familiarity of it plays into the intensity. And you can't get intensity without the up and down.
Okay. Um, do you have a few minutes for my update from work? I don't know if you have time for that. Like, I can give you a quick update and I wanted to see your thoughts.
Okay.
Okay. So,
But are you going to have stuff for Saturday?
for, well, I would have stuff based on the book.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I just don't want you to like
No,
do
no,
all
no,
your work now and
no,
then
no,
not
no.
have
Not,
anything. Okay.
but I
Okay.
have questions from the book.
Okay,
Um,
good.
yeah, yeah. So okay, so what happened the last time we talked? I think we talked about the guy, remember, who has a crush on me and I also
Yes.
back.
Yes.
Now he has a powerful position at work, so that kind
Right.
of
So
complicates
I
things.
told you to flirt with him.
But things, okay, I don't know if I told you this, but my supervisor, the relationship between my supervisor and him is this. They're, well, I don't know how to say it. They're fake friends, superficial friends. I don't know the word,
Okay.
but they've known each other for 20 years because they both
Okay.
worked for 20 years at
Right.
least. And she's kind of like a surrogate. I don't know, surrogate is the right word. She's kind of like, she's not his real mother, but it's like she's a
Like
mother
his
figure.
work mom.
Yeah, like a work mom because she's 66, he's 50. So it's kind of like he looks up to her because she's like his mother, you know.
Older. Yes.
So he treats her like as if she were the mother.
Okay.
So it's a problem for him that we're not getting along because here he has a crush on me and I don't get along with his mother. Okay.
Yes.
Um, so yeah,
Hilarious.
yeah. So 3 years ago during the pandemic, he asked his mother because he needs her permission.
Uh-huh.
Hey, I think Elizabeth would be a great fit.
Right,
Um,
for the promotion. And she
yeah, for the
kiboshed
promotion.
it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
He brainwashed him and I lost it. Okay. And she took that money for herself to get herself promoted. But the point is right now, the issue is so after everything that happened, he basically I think he told her to call a meeting with me, okay? Call
Hmm.
a meeting with Elizabeth, okay? And invite her, invite me, invite
Yes, I
HR.
remember this. You guys had that four-way meeting.
Right. No, no, no. This was the first four-way meeting.
The
Okay.
lunch?
No, like the first four-way meeting that the four of us had, where he basically, remember his energetic field was too much for me. He was
Right,
too,
right, 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 right.
yeah, yeah, that already happened. Okay.
Yeah.
But then after that, what I did, and maybe I shouldn't have done this, was the next time I had a monthly meeting with her, I did the same thing. I sent her my list of tasks by email and I copied
Right. And they didn't like that. They were
they
pissed.
they were pissed. Well, I don't know if they were pissed. She was pissed. So
Right.
she pumped them up behind the scenes, and then he's like, "Okay, schedule a meeting with her. Call her, call HR, and get her there." And then, but they did it last minute. See, they did it on Thursday evening, like Thursday. They did it at four
Last
thirty.
week?
Uh, yeah, last week.
Okay.
Thursday at 4:30, they want to meet with me, and they didn't tell me until like last minute. And like Thursday, no one's around because Thursday's the last day on site. Everyone leaves early. Most people are gone by 3.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually had a prior commitment that later that evening, and I couldn't stay. So I said I'm declining this due to a prior commitment.
Mm-hmm.
Please,
And they said you can't decline, right?
yeah, they said you
Right.
can't sign. He said that. He replied back. He's like, you should. This is what he said. You should listen to your manager's manager and do exactly what they tell you to do.
Mm.
And he's like, reschedule whatever you got and show up here. And he was not nice about it. He was not polite. He's like,
Yeah,
plan
that's
to be there.
awful.
Yeah, he basically thinks he owns me and my schedule. And I was like, well, okay, but this meeting was scheduled last minute. If I had notice, I could move things around. I don't have notice. I mean, this always happens if you schedule something last minute.
Right, 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 right.
Yeah, so then he's like, he was not having it. He's like, show up, okay? You don't have a choice. You're gonna show up here. finally I told him, I don't know, I somehow like went into my feminine energy and I did the thing you said because I felt cornered. But I didn't say it that way and I got out of it. And he's like, okay.
Good.
He's like,
Good
okay,
for
fine.
you.
He's like, okay, fine. And then he immediately asked her to reschedule it for next Tuesday. So I didn't have a good weekend because I was panicked. What the hell just
Stress.
happened?
Yeah. So you've
Yeah.
now had the meeting.
And so yeah, so now I've had the meeting and I am in shock. I have my job, okay, and
Okay.
they basically wrote
I've
me
been
up.
so worried about that. Okay.
Yeah, they wrote me. I got written up. I've never been
Oops, I can't hear you.
said what they're accusing me of is being disrespectful towards her. It was only towards her. So
Okay.
nobody else in the entire company has a problem with me. She's the only one. Okay.
Right.
So it's like I'm disrespectful towards her. I have been insubordinate because I didn't send my list of tasks to my manager. Hint hint, I sent it to other people.
Right.
Um and just stupid things, but the end of the letter was very different. The end of the letter is like, okay, you're an awful person, you're an awful employee, we should just fire you. But I'm confident, Elizabeth, that you can correct all these behaviors. I know it. I know you can do this. So
Wow.
we want you to stay. So basically they're inviting me to stay. So I basically got a slap on my wrist.
Okay.
Then like HR smoothed things over. She could tell I wasn't. She basically said, you have to sign this. I said, well, I'm not comfortable signing this because I'd
Yeah.
be signing a lie. And she's like, okay, well, we're gonna have to go through to another path then. And she didn't tell me what the path was.
Mm-hmm.
And the path was she pulled out a termination letter. And I was like, so I had to talk her out of that, then reread the letter that I
Oh
already
my
had.
God, that's so bullying.
I know they had a full term.
You have every right to get a lawyer.
No, I know that's what I was thinking, but that actually goes against my religious and spiritual beliefs. Like the whole suing thing, like I don't,
Well,
it's
not even just, but just to know your rights.
I know, but I feel like if I sue them, I'm bringing on karma on myself. I
No,
rather
but just to give you advice about signing something.
right. So I know, but so I mean, I either if I get fired and I file for unemployment, whatever, I can sue them for that, unlawful termination or whatever. But
Hmm.
then again, it's suing, and that I don't like that. So I was like, and besides, I needed like, how am I going to pay my rent? I need
Right.
a job. I need a backup plan. And so I read the letter again and again. What I did was before I signed it, I put a question mark. Near those things that I didn't understand, that didn't make sense.
Okay. Well, that was something.
I signed and dated and gave it to her.
We can't hear you.
And she produced a new letter and she's like, sign this one.
Oh my.
And she couldn't tear it up because of her nails. So she gave that to that guy, the one who has a crush on me. So he was tearing it up for her. And the whole meeting, he's not even looking at me. No eye contact. He's looking at the desk right in front of him.
So weird.
I know. I know. And my supervisor's body language, she looked like she did make eye contact. She looked depressed,
Okay.
sad.
Well, I mean, it's just getting worse and worse. Do you have a question or?
My question is why, if I'm being written up, why is she so sad? She looked depressed, like something was seriously wrong.
I
Like,
don't know. These people have a lot of problems that they're bringing to work.
okay.
And I just, as much as you can, I would just try to do your work and keep your nose clean and be Elizabeth and have integrity and not get involved or sucked in. And the part of that is not interpreting or over analyzing their behavior.
Okay, but the HR did say at the end she knew I was uncomfortable signing it. So to make smooth things over, she
Hmm.
this is how I knew it was benign because what she said at the end was like basically I'm signing this code of conduct, which is the same thing I signed when I first started working here.
Okay.
Okay, number one. And number two, she said that, it doesn't she's like, we just want to get on with the work. Okay, that's all
Okay.
we. And then
Okay.
she's
So
like,
at the very least, you should just be recording these things.
I recorded
Okay.
them. Yeah.
And keeping a log. And so if anything ever does come up, I understand you don't want to sue anybody, but if action's taken against you, you may need to have that information.
Right. And then she's like, so this shouldn't be an issue, right? And then I was like, well, what was I supposed to say? I said, well, I didn't. I was always following these rules, number one. And then she's like, yeah, so this shouldn't be an issue. And I was like, I don't see why not.
Okay.
Yeah, why? So that was it.
Okay. Well, you know what I think. I think it's a kind of a powder keg situation. So I feel you and I hear you that you want to stay at that job. I just it's stressful. It's taking a toll. You're paying a price for that. So I think you're handling it the best you can and just as much as you can.
The audio went out.
Okay. Hi.
Hi.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what's happening. I'm having some technical connectivity issues. But yeah, it's a tough situation. The more something's going to change there because it's probably not sustainable the way it is.
Hmm.
That's
Yeah,
all.
but they basically told me I had to be respectful towards this
Okay,
woman who've
well
been.
maybe you can last longer than she does. She's a lot older.
Yep, that's true.
So that's what I'm saying. You do you, focus on the work, try not to get too enmeshed with these people, be polite, keep your nose clean, look for another job on the side, you know,
Mhm.
do what you can to keep yourself happy, cherish your feelings, you know. But yeah, I don't see this going on infinitely. Okay.
But this is not how somebody who likes you behaves, right?
Um, if this is how he expresses his like for you, I'm
Yeah.
concerned because he doesn't care about your feelings. But then you showed feelings. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what he's doing. He
He's
sounds,
like sabotaging this connection. That's what he's doing.
yeah, he sounds confused and like he's giving you mixed messages.
Hmm.
So I would just, like I said,
Kind of distance myself from these people. Like when I'm
yeah,
not.
just
Yeah.
make them so there's really nothing for them to complain about. Don't have these personal interactions. Don't take the bait. Don't get, sucked into some of these things.
Hmm.
As
Yeah.
much as you can, like, not think about what their motives are, I think is better. Because I think you're spending too much time trying to interpret what they're thinking and doing, and that's taking away from you being you.
Hmm.
You don't want to game yourself too much because then you lose your authenticity. And the whole goal of life in general is to be bringing more
Hmm.
Elizabeth to the table.
Hmm.
Okay, we'll talk more on Saturday.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, well, it's been a pleasure as always. You guys can find me on Chloe's Consciousness Training.squarespace.com. You can find me on TikTok, Instagram, and if I don't see you, um, well, I won't see you next week. I think the next meetup is in a couple weeks. So I will see you then, or I will hear from you in the meantime. I have a live module starting Saturday. So any last minute signups, we have one spot left. Um, have a good night.